and welcome to New Game Plus, a YouTube channel / podcast where we talk about nerd culture and go beyond the games to talk about how it relates to our everyday life. My name is Spencer Reed, and I'm joined by Agent Hotchner and Penelope Garcia.
Oh!
Yes, he did it! I forgot we were gonna do it!
You guys discuss what Criminal Minds characters
Absolutely, we did.
Because I've been watching it for like 4 months, because there's like 17 seasons, yeah.
Oh, bless you for giving me Penelope Garcia. Just like, blessings on you and your family. It's so amazing.
So new segment. What you got for us?
Yeah. So we've got so we're gonna start doing a game of the week where we just go kind of just talk about a game for a while, you know, all the good things about it, all the bad things about it, the story, all that kind of stuff. So my vote for this week's game of the week was Zoo Tycoon, because I wanted to keep that theme in this, but they were all like, no, Corey, we can only talk on that for like 2 minutes because it's literally nothing. But I guess we're going with Earthbound, which
we are talking about Zoo Tycoon at some point. Now,
Right.
I agree with Cody, whereas Earthbound is a good game to talk about, especially if it's our first one, because in its entirety, comedically, story-driven, like good combat, like it's just a great game in its entirety. Zoo Tycoon, I'm gonna go on. I have a lot to say about Zoo Tycoon, but that's just not a good starting point. I don't think.
Yeah, well, to be fair, when I talked to Cody this morning, I did say Earthbound. I was like, let's do Earthbound. It's a good one to start out with. We all already know the entire game front to back. So yeah. Look at that mug. That's a beautiful mug. Look at my Foresight, and also
I have zero references, but
Moonside. Is that what it's called, right?
Yeah. Same poster too.
Yeah.
Mine's still downstairs.
Yeah. Sad. How sad for you.
Mount it to your forehead.
And put it where? Could I put
Mount it to your forehead, you geek.
Put it
just
right there.
Just write
Right
Mother 2, right on your forehead. So okay. So
I
this.
put my poster right there.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good place to put it. Yeah, but your kids will destroy it. So, so okay. Okay. Yeah. Right. Oh crap! What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So to start this off, Mother 2, which in America is known as Earthbound, right? Mm-hmm. Its original release for the SNES was Mother 2 in Japan, and Earthbound here in the US. It's a sequel. Oh my gosh, to Mother, which came out for the NES, which almost nobody played except for Cody, obviously. I never played it.
Also,
I think I
interesting
tried.
fact: Mother, the original one, was recently re-released as Earthbound Beginnings on the Nintendo store. So, yep.
What game do you think was the most popular of the saga?
Right.
Oh, Earthbound, 100%. But yeah.
Cody? Can you actually go through like a quick synopsis of Mother? Do you know it well enough to
The
just
first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too dissimilar from Earthbound. Mother, you're a boy who your parents had been at one point abducted by aliens, and your mother escaped and came back to Earth and had you, and your father was stranded with the aliens, eventually dying. But
Wow.
The penultimate enemy, or the ultimate enemy, in that game was actually Gaigyu, which is the infant form, I should say, of Gygus. And
which is the antagonist in Earthbound.
Which is the main antagonist of Earthbound. And the interesting thing where they brought kind of the similarity from Mother 1 into Mother 2 is that at the very end, you don't defeat him just by simply dealing out a ton of damage. You defeat Gaigyu by singing a song 8 times to pacify him and allow him to, not destroy the Earth.
So that's kind of like how you, to jump ahead like the entire way, it's kind of like how you defeat Gygus, which is deal a ton of damage, but then you gotta pray. How many times? Do you know?
It was 8 times.
It was 8 times?
Yeah.
That's a lot of survival you gotta do in that game, man.
Number of steps.
That's a lot of...
Yes.
He does.
The goal of the prayer is different from the goal of the song, though.
Yeah, and Gygus just does so much damage with every attack. I mean...
Well, he's got that. You cannot grasp the true form of Gygus' attack. Jeff collapses. Poop collapses.
Ness can't stop crying. Oh, that's funny, because I'm also crying right now. Crazy.
Great. I'm 12 years old, and I'm emotionally damaged. So, okay. Emotional damage. I can't do it. I can't do that. I would...
Emotional damage.
Yeah, see, I could do it. But I did it different because I'm so sick of saying it now, unfortunately. But it is still really funny.
Side note, real quick sidetrack. Our D&D session last night that you weren't there for.
Nah.
The guy that they were talking to was having a frank conversation with Ray Hall and basically told him that at one point he was a terrible son for never visiting his mother in the past 50 years. And Ryan had it queued up and ready, and as soon as I said it, you would just hear this emotional damage.
That's amazing. That's amazing, dude. I think that soundboards in a D&D campaign would just make it 100 times better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But anyways, to digress.
Yeah. So what was the protagonist in Mother? What was his name?
Nintendo.
Nintendo. Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. So after all that happens and you pacify Gaigyu, I guess is this an unrelated story to Mother 2?
Nope. Ness is a descendant of Nintendo.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. So
I think it's grandson.
So Earthbound really is just a story about Ness and his three pals, Paula, Jeff, and Pooh, right? Mm-hmm. Jeff. I always forget his real name because we always changed his name to like Sean or something like that.
I think it was Sean.
Yeah, well, it was if you leave. It's one of those games where if you leave the name empty and you go to.
Well, they have a recommend or something.
Just
like
don't care.
Oh, don't care. That's what
it
thanks,
is.
Taylor.
Don't care. And you click it, and it cycles through a bunch of names. And I always pick you have you name Ness either Ness or yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then
Not
Paula
my name though, because it's 6 letters, and you can only get Taylor in there.
But I always named Paula Sky because for
Same.
some reason I liked that song or that name when I was a kid. Jeff was always Sean for some reason. Again, just liked the name more. And then Pooh was.
Can I guess real quick? You always named Pooh Kai, right?
No, I named him Pooh. I kept him Pooh.
Yeah, me too.
I think I always named him Kai.
Yeah. So,
And
but
then
yeah,
the dog
Just
was always
King for me.
Well, that's the default name.
Oh, Gabe.
Did we name him Gabe?
Yeah, we named him Gabe.
Yeah.
After our little
That was
childhood puppers.
That was
And what
our
was your
dog.
favorite food?
We all
Pizza.
different.
Tacos.
Pizza.
Pasta.
The
Nice.
main one is steak. Yeah,
Yeah,
these are all
main
things,
one
by
is
the way.
steak.
These
And
are all
then
things that you have to choose at the beginning of the game when you're creating your character.
And then your favorite thing,
gaming.
Rockin'.
gaming.
Yeah.
Gaming or rocking. I've picked so many. I've played that game so many times. But
Rockin'
mostly
is default, right?
No, gaming.
No.
I think it is Rockin'. I think Rockin'
I
is
think it
default.
is rocking.
Yeah.
I think
Oh.
rocking is
Because
default, yeah.
so what that ends up being is actually like your best PSI move, your psychic move or whatever.
His signature move, yeah.
So it's like called like PSI, Rockin' Alpha and Beta or whatever, or Gamma and stuff like
So,
that.
Your favorite food is always when you go home to see your mother. She says, "Okay, I'll make you some tacos and scoot off to bed," and then you'd rest up and come back full health. And then when you pick your favorite thing, it ends up being your Ness's signature PSI move that damages all the enemies on the screen for significant damage. Is your favorite thing.
Right. It always
Also,
takes up
just
so much magic
going-
points.
Going back to how I said that I couldn't fit my name because it was my name 6 letters and now you can only fit 5. It wasn't rocking. It wasn't gaming. It was gamin' and rockin'. Because you couldn't fit the G in there.
Was
because
it?
You only got 5 letters.
I don't think that's right.
I don't think that's right for
That's how rockin' was.
Rockin' was,
Sorry.
but I think that for that specific category, you could have more than
Was I
5.
thinking? I might be, you know what? I think I might be thinking of Chrono Trigger.
You might be.
No, because Chrono Trigger is
I'm thinking
4
Chrono Trigger.
4 letters.
Because Rockin'-
Because if you delete
even
Chrono's
Rockin'-
name, you can't
Yeah,
spell out
you
Chrono
can't.
again.
No,
Yeah.
because Lucca and Maro. I think it's the same with those though. as
Yeah,
well,
if
because
you
they both
delete
are
it.
5
You delete
names, but
them,
If you delete
yeah.
them, it's only 4.
Yeah.
Wrong game. Okay, I was thinking of Chrono Trigger this whole time. My apologies.
No, that's fine.
Taylor, I
think
want you.
should pull Taylor.
I want you to understand though that PSI Rockin', even if you take off the G, is still 6 letters.
That's what I was trying to get at. Well, I think I was still
Yeah.
rocking, but it's because it's ROCKIN, where gaming is only 6 letters with a G in it. So
Yeah.
I
But
think
it is Rockin'.
Yeah.
There's no G on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you had to pick the border color for the dialogue box, and I always chose mint.
Oh yeah. Border color was mint, because the other ones looked just bland.
One of them
And then
looked
you
like
picked
peanut butter.
And then you picked your text speed and stereo, either mono or stereo, and then it would go wow, wow, wow.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, I forgot about that. We are getting way too deep into like the details
All
of
right, guys.
creating a
All right,
character.
so we finished characters now. We pan on to 1 the year is 19XX.
Don't forget.
We-
Don't
19,
forget,
yeah, 19XX.
1X is a town in the land in what land?
I don't remember.
Eagle Land,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah!
I
which is
forgot.
our
Oh, that's
first
right.
of many Western
Oh.
references in the
Yeah,
game.
because Cody, why was this game created? Or like what was one of the points behind it?
One of the big themes in the game was directly making fun of Western culture. The name Eagle Land, and then the
Referencing
towns,
America, by the way.
yes, yes. The towns that you encounter, the first 4 towns that you encounter are Winnett, Tucson, Threed, and Forside. It's the simplicity of Westerners, that kind of a deal. And there are lots and lots of references to angry bag ladies,
New age retro hippie.
new age retro hippies.
That's my favorite.
Even the soundtrack is definitely more like Western sounding music rather than like your typical Japanese RPG. So
the secondary antagonist, Pokey,
Oh
Yes.
god.
is no beast child.
And he ends up becoming a greedy corporate mogul.
He's
And
becoming
his-
a greedy
well,
corporate
his-
mogul.
His parents are also overweight, in debt, and abuse their children.
Yeah.
So-
And the great thing about all this is that the Western culture embraced it and loved it. Absolutely. It's amazing.
Loved it.
Do you
It
think
is-
we knew, or do you think we just like thought it was fun?
We knew.
Like, okay, or some people didn't know because they're just.
I knew.
stupid. I don't know.
I think
I'll
at
say
this
that.
point
I-
everybody does because everybody has Reddit.
because
I knew because Cody told me.
because like you're just looking, and it's just there's too many references to miss that it's poking fun, and that's not the entirety of the game. This is just like a
Fun little
something
aside.
they threw in. Now it makes the dialogue incredibly fun. And it makes interactions with various NPCs incredibly fun because you could have one NPC that's going to tell you, "Hey, there's this cult in the next valley that's very dangerous. You should be careful if you go there." And then the person standing next to them be like, "Oh yeah, they're the happy cult, and they paint everything blue." And they're both
Happy,
right.
happy.
And
happy.
then the next NPC you talk to goes, "Ah!" I screamed because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah, the receptionist at that cult. Yeah.
Ironically enough, it's the secretary of the headquarters in the Happy Village that does that. So
I always thought it
yeah.
was in 3, but that's not right. Yeah, that game is just wonderful in that aspect.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's chock full of just small poking jokes that are funny and not offensive at all. Which I think was originally the goal. I don't think they were trying to be offensive or anything, but going through the game and you see all these funny things, but the farther into the game you get, the more of like a really dark undertone starts to surface.
Yeah, it's real heavy. It's really, really good story too.
Yeah, and they keep it light, and they mix the light, happy kind of feel that the game has had up until a certain point, and then they start bringing in this dark undertone. So you have this really weird juxtaposition of fun dialogue with a really serious and dark subject.
Yeah.
That is
Yep.
a
Especially with
weird-
what comes to mind when you talk about that duality of those two things is the Mr. Saturn conversation in the
I was
hot tub
just
or in
gonna
the spring,
say
the hot
that.
spring. It's
Yeah,
like these
so-
little pigs with bow ties on their head. Ridiculous. They're just a ridiculous race of characters in that.
Boys
you have a
and dogs
real
and stuff like that.
yeah, and even
Yeah.
the text they use is
Yeah,
like
fine.
impossible to read. It's very difficult to read. But you have this really like long cutscene of just like Star Wars style,
Yep.
like just the text scrolling down. I guess it's opposite, whatever. And it's just like this deep conversation that you have with one of these things, and you're just like reading it. You're like, yeah, oh, that's okay, that's just nuts.
Yeah, and this deep conversation that you have, you're in the hot tub because you're washing off the gunk that you got on you from fighting a sentient giant pile of crap.
Yeah.
Is it crap or is it vomit?
Master Belch.
I think it's vomit.
It might be vomit.
I think
yeah.
it's
Well,
vomit.
Specifically,
I don't-
there's a Master Barf later on in the game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if they were like the same.
I think they're
bodily function.
I think it's both vomit. I don't think one's
It might
crap.
be, yeah.
Oh,
Either
God.
way.
Honestly, it was equally as nasty when you fought it because every time it would make it would talk when it would cast any kind of like an ability or anything,
yeah.
it would burp, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
And it's not just a burp; it's like a disgusting
It's
full
a
body belch.
Deep
But
from like from your soul kind of burp. It's
yeah, it's real gross. But the point of this game, which we haven't really gotten to yet, other than you have to save the universe from Gygas, right? Or is it the world? I think it's the universe.
Yeah.
Is so you get this thing from Buzz at the beginning. This little fly that talks to you came from the future to recruit you essentially and help you destroy Gygas, but he gets killed by a fly swatter. It's like
after he casts insane spells against the Starman.
Right.
Yeah.
So just the beginning hour of this game, you get woken up by a meteor crashing near your town, and like any other curious child, you leave your house to go investigate it, and your mom's like, "Okay, dear, have fun," and you know, you meet your
as
crappy
all good
neighbor
moms
Pokey.
do.
You meet your crappy neighbor Pokey, and he tags along because his brother Picky is missing, and so you go investigate, and you find all this stuff at the meteor later on, and Buzz, this alien bee, comes because the Apple of Enlightenment made a prophecy that 4 children would save the world, and Pokey immediately runs away saying he's not one of the children, which is funny.
And then
Yeah.
Piggy gets grounded, so he can't go.
That's right. That's right. And his dad beats the
But-
crap out of him or something like that.
Yep.
On your way to deliver the children back home, you get stopped by a Starman Jr. A Starman is one of the elite soldiers of Gygas, and the Starman Jr. was sent to kill Ness before the prophecy could come true. So Buzz is the powerhouse in the fight, casting shields so that you can't be hurt at all, and dealing the most damage by far to the Starman, and then is promptly killed by the obese mother of Pokey.
With a fly swatter.
Yeah. It's a dung beetle.
I'm gonna hit
Also-
it with a swatter or something like that.
Also, one of the most just annoying things in the game was getting through Buzz's whole "I'm dying" speech,
Oh.
and accidentally hitting yes for "Do you want to hear it again?"
Yeah, because they put the arrow on yes instead of no
Yeah.
for do you want to hear it
Well,
again?
it's
And if
usually the way that it's usually worded in games like this is "Do you need to hear this? Do you need to hear this again?" And you would say no, or
no, it would be do you-
it would be like a "Did you understand this?" And you would say yes. This one was "Did you want to hear it again?"
Yeah.
No.
yeah, and
no,
it's
here we
not
go
a short
again.
it's not a short conversation. But if I can but after all that, if I
Yeah,
could skip
continue,
ahead, you
yeah.
get the sound stone from Buzz, and the whole
Mhm.
the whole point for the beginning of your thing is your adventure is to go to these 8 sanctuary locations to record.
Collect all the Dragon Balls.
That's right. The Soundstone records little pieces of this song, this lullaby that your mom sung you or something as a kid. Isn't that right?
I think it was like a toy or something that played the melody, because when you have your black and white flashback, it plays the melody in like a really simple like single tone MIDI.
Yeah.
Do 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 do
Yep.
do.
So
Yeah.
so you have to kill all these guardians of the sanctuary locations in all these places, and I always get them out of order somehow. But like near the end, it's like it doesn't really matter. Like you just can go to
No.
whatever once. But
It's
go ahead.
there's the sanctuary provides a certain part of the song, and you can touch the sound stone to your head to play what you have recorded up to that point. And if you had mixed the sanctuary and you went 1, 2, and then skipped 3, went to 4, it plays the first 2, and then you just hear ooh, and then it plays the 4th one, and then it sounds completely disjointed, and you're like, I missed something.
The most commonly missed one, from what I've heard, is the second one, because after you rescue Paula, you can literally just leave Happy Village and not go to the
yeah.
cave where the Mondo Mole.
So the one that I always
location.
the one that I always miss is the one at where you have to kill Sun and Moon or something like that, or
Thunder and Lightning.
Thunder and Lightning. Why Sun and Moon? My lord.
That's the one in Foresight. Nope, that's the one
Nope,
in.
that's the one in,
who's
Salam. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I always miss
I
that
the
one.
in Foresight.
Do you? The magnetic pyramids.
Yep.
Yes.
In Magnet Hill. Yeah.
Magnet
Guarded
Hill.
by the Plague Rat of Doom.
The Plague Red of Doom. Yeah. So what is the purpose of recording all of those? Because I know that like
So
you have to.
so
Sorry. Go ahead.
as Buzz explains, the Soundstone will record the melodies of these locations because these are 8 individual locations, specifically where Ness can draw power from the Earth. So by recording these into the Soundstone, he unlocks the power within, basically. Because these 8 spots are their power spots specifically for Ness.
Right, and then when you get all 8, you put it to your head and play it, and you fall asleep at the fire spring or whatever it is, and you go into your head, which is one of the most difficult parts of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Magicant is very difficult. Like
which is actually a returning location from Mother.
Oh, is it? Nice. But so you go through all this stuff in your head, and you have to fight the Manu statue, which is like
Again.
yeah, which is like
enemy.
Yep, a recurring statue. It's actually in the poster. If you can,
third time you fight it, right?
It's like
It's
a
upside down
tertiary
pink
antagonist.
thing there. Yeah, and defeating that like unlocks a ton of power with it, and you gain up a bunch of levels.
So
and...
the Manny statue in the game is
Manny. I've been saying Manu.
Yeah, it's Manny. The Manny statue you can actually see for the first time right after you go to the meteor at the beginning. You can go back to Liar Exaggerate's house, and in his basement he found the statue. And then you see it again. The next time you see it is in Foreside/Moonside, and that's when
see
you
it before that, I believe, right? You see it in the Happy Village because the guy that you need the Franklin badge for is behind him.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, Mr. Carpenter.
Yes.
Yeah. So the when you run into it in Foreside, that's when you trip balls and go to Moonside, where everything is backwards, and
Hello, and goodbye.
yeah, it's trippy as balls to get through. And when you eventually do, the final boss you face is the Manny statue, and when you break the statue in the illusion, you come to reality, and you have actually broken the statue in the back of that CD bar that you were in the storage room.
As like an 8-year-old kid.
And that's the last, and that's the last you see of it until you go to Magicant and Mess's own head, where the Manny statue is called Nessus Nightmare, and is
represents all his fears, stuff like that.
And when you defeat it,
the PSI abilities against you.
It does, and it can also reflect them too. So you have to be careful. Defeating him kind of frees Ness of that fear, and you get massive stat gains, and he becomes like by far the most powerful character.
Because before that, it's poo. Before that, if I remember right.
Starstorm, yeah.
Which is funny because in Super Smash Brothers, Ness does PSI Starstorm as his ultimate, and I'm like, that's not right. Don't do that. But
should have been rocking.
He should have been rocking.
The and also interesting thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but so one of the other really popular items that Ness uses throughout all the games he's in is the home run bat. Don't you have? Is that the bat you get in Ness's illusion when you? Is it the one you find when you're killing the Krakens? You're trying to find it.
That's the Grand Slam bat, isn't it?
That's the
gutsy bat. Yeah.
Gutsy bat. Okay.
And that is a bat. It's a very low drop rate from the Krakens that are in the sea. I can't remember the name of the sea. Oh my god. Anyways, it maxes out your gut stat, which is your crit stat in that game.
And you crit a lot if you wear that.
Guts is also randomly, when you take fatal damage, if the rolling meter hits 0 before you can heal it, sometimes it'll stay at 1, and that's dependent on your gut stat as well.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of, that's a fun thing about the game is that when you get damaged, your damage rolls like a
counter.
What's a slot machine kind of looking thing.
Yeah.
And if you have a ton of HP, let's say you have 80 HP left. Oh my lord, that was difficult. And you get hit for 90. If the next turn you can heal yourself before it gets to 0, you don't die.
Yep.
And that's really cool. That's really cool. So
so you have to speed through Ness because Ness does have life up. Never mind, you can use it.
Yeah, he does.
But then you have to speed through choosing everyone else's action so that you can get to Ness using life up before.
Ness, life up, fight.
I just would do auto because the next person, if they can heal you, will heal you.
You can only auto fight with Ness, and if you do it, it cats everyone's turn.
That's what I'm saying is that I would do that. But
I'd say that the first person that could heal Ness would, and it would usually be before the counter.
Righteous.
Down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like after Magicant, and actually even a little before, when you get to the 7th sanctuary, which is the Lumina Wall or whatever it's called.
Lumen Hall, yeah.
Lumen Hall. That's when the story starts to get real deep, real dark, and then the Lumen Wall is like projecting his thoughts onto the screen, and it's telling about all the things he's scared about and everything, which kind of leads up to Magic Camp after you go to the Fire Spring and fight Carbon Dog and Diamond Dog, which Jeff is really good against with his bottle rockets. I know everything.
We all know everything about this.
Yeah. But after that, you actually go back to Saturn Valley where you talk to the Mr. Saturns and Jeff's dad, Dr. Andonuts, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
It's not his, is it his dad? It is his dad.
It is his dad. And he invents this machine that puts your soul into a robot, because if you if you teleport to this place or go back in time or forward in time or whatever, I think it's back in time.
It's back in time. Yeah.
If you go to this place, it will rip you apart or something like that. It will
phase distorter.
It will just destroy you. You cannot travel in time with having a human body. So they keep your bodies like.
Interesting thing that he says in there is that there's no guarantee that your soul will find its way back.
It's so creepy.
4 children are being sent, years into the past to fight Gygas before he became all powerful, and there's no guarantee that they're going to be alive afterwards. So it's really heavy when you're going through it in the game, because it's one of the few moments where the game is entirely serious. There are no jokes in that dialogue.
Yeah, and then the whole I won't go deep into the whole fight and everything, but like getting to Gygas, you're like crawling across him, or like across like this machinery.
It's the devil machine. Yeah.
Like that houses him.
Yeah. And
you have to fight Pokey. Spoiler alert. Along with in his little creepy spider machine thing, along with Gygas inside this little capsule, and it's creepy because it's like you can see Ness's reflection of his face in the machine.
Yep.
And it's just
Gygas like mimics him in the eye of the machine, because Gygas knows that he's the one that can stop him.
Yeah. So, and then when you break it, oh man, Gygas is no longer a creature. Like,
so the funny tie-in from Mother that they don't really explain very well in either of the games is that when Gygu, before he went crazy, went to Earth to get his mother, because Ninten's mother in Mother raised Gygu, so Gygu viewed her as his mother. So he went back and he was going to destroy Earth and take her back, and when he was pacified and went back without her, he eventually went insane and destroyed his own race entirely, and began just like from there went on like a murderous rampage across the galaxies and accumulated more and more power until he went completely insane and was no longer capable of rational thought. Pokey, through some outside assistance, I cannot for the life of me remember how, got Gygas into the devil machine so that Gygas could be controlled. And when you guys defeat Pokey, he switches off the devil machine, Gygas escapes, and he's literally a theoretical entity at that point. Like, you're fighting. It goes from this machine with this weird eyeball that has Ness's face in it, or Ninten's face actually, because the cap is different if you look carefully, to fighting the background.
Yeah, it's really, really weird and really creepy.
It's really weird. It's really well done, and the music is unsettling.
Yes.
When you're fighting him.
Pause. I am very sorry. We have to pause. Yes? Hello? Hey!
Yeah?
Here we are again.
What's up?
Oh, I thought you were talking to people.
No, what's up?
No, not much. We're just recording the
Are we
podcast.
say goodnight to us?
I already did, remember? But I will come up again when I'm done with this conversation.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
No, that's
Okay.
cool. It's fine. Take your time.
All right.
It's all good.
Okay.
All right.
Love you.
It's fine. Yeah,
Love you too.
All I can think about is that's an edit I'm going to have to do. So.
Anyway, Taylor,
Yeah, you were going to say.
I don't remember. Oh, so that's one of the things that when it comes to games I look a lot into is their soundtracks and stuff, right? So I've listened to the entire Earthbound soundtrack a number of times, and like all of the all the fights up to this point, the music is so intricate and so fascinating to where like they incorporate all this, like all these different synth sounds and stuff, and it's very complex and a lot of like jumps and pitches and stuff. It's a whole thing. And then like you fight Gygas after him and Pokey, where it's a similar kind of vibe. Then you just fight Gygas when he gets released from his machine or whatever. And then it's just drawn out notes, drawn out low notes for
Ominous
long
tones.
periods of time. And then every once in a while it might go up a little bit and then it might go down. But they turn the bass up to 200 and they make you feel, they don't make you hear the music, they make you feel the music.
Yeah, and it's interspersed with this random like electronic crackling, screeching noise that
really, really, really well done. Probably my favorite final boss music of all time. Final Fantasy 3 is up there as well with Kefka. That's really good music as well.
Dancing Mad's number one overall, but we can't get into that now.
Oh man, but the Gigas, it's so simple in its execution, and it delivers so much of a bigger message. Where like for Dancing Mad, it required an entire orchestra. Where you have to respect the Gigas music for its simplicity.
Right,
and with a similar message.
And it has just that, like Cody said, that chaotic screeching almost. It's almost like you say, like a disruption is a really good word for it, I think.
Yeah. It is
but there's only one other time I've heard it done very, very well, and that was actually in the Adventure Zone with what was their second campaign called where they did Monster of the Week?
Amnesty.
Amnesty did it near the end, and it was really, really good, and it's probably my favorite atmospheric kind of setting the tone to a dark vibe kind of music. It's really, really good.
It is really good.
So not only is the music itself good, but the titles of the tracks in the OST, I had to look them up because I can't remember. So as you're approaching Gygas' lair, the song title is just called The Place. When you enter the lair and you're climbing up the devil machine, it's Gygas' lair. When you're talking to Pokey when he appears, it's Gygas' intro. The actual boss music when you're fighting Gygas in eyeball form and Pokey, which is one of the cooler
devil
songs
machine
because
form.
it's got the metal.
Yeah, it's like
it's called Pokey Means Business. And then the transition.
Obese kid from earlier, in case anyone forgot.
Yeah, your neighbor kid that's the most obnoxious child in existence.
And then a corporate mogul, somehow.
So from there, when he's releasing him from the devil machine, it's Gygas Intimidation, Gygas Stirs, Prayer for Safety, Gygas is Wounded, Gygas is Fatally Wounded, Gygas Disintegrates. Those are the escalating tracks as you're fighting him. It's
such a good end. It's such a good ending, too.
And that's one of the things that we haven't touched on yet. And during that last battle, and I think we mentioned it earlier, is that when you're fighting Gygas, in its like final form, you're required. We mentioned that you pray, right? So then you have like Ness and you have Jeff and you have Pooh who are just trying to unload their whole arsenal on them in whatever way they can. And then Sky has them. She can pray. She can pray all of the battles, but Paula. Sorry. Paula can pray. It's always been one of her things, but like this is where it actually becomes more of a factor. And when she prays, it cuts to scenes of places you've been and people you've saved / interacted with, and they all of a sudden feel this urge to come together as a community and pray for you and for you and your safety. Well, they pray for people specifically. So like Jeff's like this boarding school he goes to, Paula will pray, and then Jeff's roommate Tony, I think his name is, and everyone at the school will come together along with the bubble monkey, I think, and we'll all pray for Jeff's safety, and then it deals like 20,000 damage to Gygas. Like,
you can actually kill
prayer
Gygas without praying if you
can. It takes forever though because it escalates up to like millions of damage.
Yeah.
So, it's really neat because during the whole fight, he's like this. They call him the Universal Cosmic Destroyer because in the future where Buzz is from, he has essentially destroyed the universe, and Buzz is from like the last bastion of survival in the universe, and so you're fighting the background, and it's moving, and it's like waving around, and in the negative images you can see a literal fetus, which kind of represents many things that are deeper and will take more time than I really want to spend on this one subject. But when he attacks, he talks kind of, and it's always Ness. It hurts, or it's like
I forgot about this.
Yeah, and it's like Ness, 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 Ness. And what does he say?
He's
He
going
says,
insane. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like
yeah,
ramblings
the
of a
dialogue
lunatic.
is yeah, the dialogue is nuts, and he goes insane. But
It's unsettling.
It's really, especially if you know the background of him, it's also sad because he's essentially a child. And so some of the quotes are like, it's not right, I'm so sadness. I'm trying to like go through it.
Just tear your soul, man.
I'm happy, like happy. And then the next one is I'm sad, it hurts, Ness. It's so creepy. It's so creepy.
It's really good though.
It is really good.
If you don't want to, if you don't ever want to like play it, you don't feel like playing an SNES game. I get it, but you should watch just like clips and summaries and stuff like that of actual gameplay and of the Gygas fight because it's really good.
Matt Pat put out a really, really good analysis of Earthbound. You know the guy who does the game theory videos?
Yeah.
But that's just a theory, a game theory. He did a really good one on Earthbound, and it's about how you can relate. This is like a metaphor for children having to grow up and stuff like that. It's a really good video.
So, there was two things that I wanted to mention real quick. One, if you don't play this game or like get anything from this, those of you who play Super Smash Brothers and you see Ness in the lineup, just know that's where he came from, and that's the crap he dealt with.
I'm sure at this point,
before you use him to fight, like
Kirby
Mario and Bowser and Meta Knight, like like he defeated like the little like monster, this giant universal monster, or whatever.
The literal embodiment of evil.
Yeah, like bring you to tears, kind of terrifying stuff. Not really, but other thing. To bring this back to a nerd culture podcast, which I think is what we're really going for here. Yeah. I did look a lot into like some different forums and the Earthbound subreddit, obviously the Mother 2 subreddit. I kind of visited a couple of subreddits. But anyway, what I surmised from this community, they are some of the most creative people on the face of the planet. Their fan art, their musical comps,
top tier.
Just amazing. They're the people who are into Earthbound are some of the most clever, artistically capable, amazing people I've ever seen in my entire life. Like there are a couple of like songs that I saved from their subreddit that I just play for myself when I want to relax because it's just so good. And this happens to me all the time. Come on.
As a side note, the poster, Corey, that's behind you there, the Four-Side Moonside poster there, that was fan done. I found that on the subreddit. That was done by a guy, and all of the posters is one for Onett, Tucson, Threed, and Foreside, and they all have references to each individual town. Like Onett has the meteor in the background, Tucson has like the Polestar preschool, Threed has the Sky Runner in the sky behind you, and then
that's right here too, isn't it?
Foreside has Moonside, yeah.
Sky
Runner. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. For those of you who were following Reddit's Our Place,
yeah,
Earthbound,
there was a solid Earthbound one there.
There were people like
it was a mural
at all hours of the day, like ready. If someone took down the Manny statue and replaced it with something else, that's fine because someone was there to replace that with something else.
What is Our Place?
Like, it was this thing that that Reddit does. Cody, can you explain this better?
Yeah. So r/ is Reddit's means of subreddits. So like r/Earthbound is Earthbound subreddit. r/place is a thing that Reddit does every year, where it's just millions of little blocks, and you can make pixel art. It's like a group effort pixel art thing, and you can change the color of a block once every 5 minutes. That way somebody can't just go through and just change everything. And there's all these communities. You have everything from like you had the flags of different countries. You had Star Wars logos up there. You had all sorts of video games. You had the entire Big Ten came together and made a mural of all their team logos. Like just everyone was on this Our Place thing. I'm trying to see if I can find real quick the
because a section of Earthbound stayed on the final product because that was one of the things is that your thing can be replaced by somebody else after a while. Like you could have formed this whole thing, but then someone later could come through and just replace it with their own thing.
Yeah.
Earthbound.
And there was a lot of streamers were specifically targeting the bronies.
So games I like, RimWorld didn't make it. I was very sad about that. Stardew Valley made it. There's a little section of just the Stardew Valley and a little star drop thing. But Earthbound, that community they're all very nice and supportive of each other's artistic endeavors. They're all very talented, and they are all very loyal to the Earthbound brand.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they make a huge impression.
So it was on our place for a while.
The whole time.
The whole time.
The end, at a certain time, they ended it, and whatever was visible at that time got saved into eternity. Like they saved that picture, and Earthbound's in it.
Amazing.
You say all this, and as I'm scrolling through the subreddit looking for an Our Place art, I see someone that named their favorite thing at the beginning pussy.
Classic internet.
Oh, I can't just have a nice thing. It has to be that thing in there too.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think we'll end it. Went a little longer than we were hoping for, but that's okay. We'll get through it. We'll slim stuff down. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, this is still going to be a long one, but if you like Earthbound enough, just watch it. I mean, we're at the end, so you did watch it, and thank you.
Thank you for watching it.
Yeah. So if you like this kind of forum, or not forum, but like this kind of chat where we deep dive into video games, let us know. We'll do more of these. They're very fun, especially if it's games that we love and we know. But please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us out a lot, help you guys out a lot, because we'll be able to put more content out there once we have more viewership and people want more. So we'll be more able to do that. So thanks again, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
Love you.